Today's story is
Tournament Madness. Imani stood outside the Arizona State Lottery Tucson office at 2955 East Grant Road. She adjusted her green t-shirt, her mind racing with excitement. Under her arm, she carried her favorite basketball, ready for whatever mystery lay inside. Today wasn't about winning a prize, it was about changing history. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. Stepping into the lobby, Imani bypassed the ticket counters and headed straight for the back. There, tucked away behind a velvet rope, was a sleek elevator that looked like it belonged in a movie. It was metallic, with glowing blue coils and gull-wing-style doors. "The DeLorean elevator," she whispered, written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. She tapped the screen with precision. The date flashed, March 22nd, 2000. She set the time for 6:30 a.m. and held her breath. The elevator didn't go up or down. Instead, the walls began to blur and spin. A hum filled her ears, and the smell of the office turned into the scent of gym wax. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. The doors slid open with a hiss. Imani stepped out into the Flowing Wells High School gym at 3725 North Flowing Wells Road. The morning sun was just starting to peek through the high windows, casting long shadows across the polished wooden court. She was really back in the year 2000. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. Suddenly, a loud whistle echoed through the gym. Standing at mid-court was Coach Sam, wearing his signature black coach cap and a black and white t-shirt. He looked exactly as Imani remembered. He blew the whistle again and pointed toward the lockers, written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. "You've just arrived. Come on, girls, let's change," Coach Sam shouted with a big, encouraging smile. He looked at his watch, tapping it to remind them that time was of the essence. Sarah was already there, her blonde ponytail bouncing as she waved to Imani. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. Susie and Stephanie ran past, eager to get started. Susie's bright red hair was a flash of color against her black t-shirt. Stephanie followed close behind, her white blonde hair shimmering. "The tournament is about to start," Susie called out, her red lips curved into a grin. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. Inside the locker room, the air was filled with the sounds of zippers and sneakers hitting the floor. Imani pulled on her new uniform. It was a bright purple t-shirt with a bold white number on the front. Sarah sat on the bench next to her, lacing up her sneakers, written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. Susie and Stephanie were already fully dressed. Susie smoothed out her jersey, showing off the number 20. Stephanie checked her reflection, her magenta lips matching the intensity of her focus. Her jersey featured the number 70. "We look like champions," Stephanie declared, written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. Imani stood up and looked in the mirror. She was wearing number 10. Sarah stood beside her, wearing number 7. They both looked ready for battle. Coach Sam poked his head into the room. "5 minutes, ladies. Let's show them what Flowing Wells is made of." Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. The girls ran out onto the court to the sound of cheering. The tournament madness had begun. The first game was intense. Sarah took the lead, dribbling the ball with incredible speed. Her purple glasses stayed perfectly in place as she maneuvered around the defenders. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. Sarah saw an opening and pivoted. With a sharp look toward the wing, she zipped a perfect pass over to Imani. Imani caught the ball in stride, her green sneakers squeaking against the hardwood. She felt the weight of the ball and knew exactly what to do. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. Imani took one power dribble and leaped. She felt like she was flying as she reached toward the hoop. With a flick of her wrist, the ball left her fingers. It soared through the air in a perfect arc, spinning as it headed toward the rim. written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. Swish! The ball went straight through the net. Susie and Stephanie erupted in cheers from the three-point line. They jumped into the air, their purple uniforms bright under the gym lights. "That's my teammate," Susie screamed, her hands raised high in the air. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. The game ended with a victory for the girls. Coach Sam walked over and patted Imani on the shoulder. "Incredible work out there, number 10, he said. Imani smiled, feeling the thrill of the win. But her journey wasn't over yet. She had to return to her own time. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. After traveling back through the elevator, Imani arrived at the train house at 2540 East Grant Road. She walked through the front door, still buzzing with energy. In the kitchen, she saw her mother, Patricia, who was wearing a beautiful orange dress and sandals. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. Imani went up to the bedroom to find her older sister, Francine. Francine was sitting on the bed, her white t-shirt and red pants looking sharp. She wore her orange earrings today. "How was the game, little sis?" Francine asked, her red lips parting in a smile. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. Their father, Jack, walked into the room wearing his green t-shirt and light blue jeans. He clapped his hands together. "I heard there's a different kind of competition starting outside," he said, his red boots clunking on the floor. "The first annual dribble race, written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First." Imani met Sarah on the sidewalk outside the house. The sun was starting to set, painting the sky in shades of purple and gold. They each held a brown basketball, bouncing them rhythmically on the concrete. "Ready to see who's faster on the move?" Sarah challenged. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. Susie and Stephanie joined them at the starting line. Susie's yellow pants and Stephanie's green pants made them easy to spot as the light faded. The race was simple. Dribble from one end of the block to the other without losing control of the ball. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. "Go!" Jack shouted from the porch. Imani and Sarah took off, their sneakers pounding the pavement. Imani focused on the rhythm of the bounce. Dribble, step, dribble, step. Sarah was right beside her, her ponytail whipping back and forth like a golden flag. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. As the moon rose, the race continued. It was a test of endurance and skill. Susie and Stephanie were close behind, the sound of 4 basketballs echoing through the quiet neighborhood. They reached the halfway point just as the clock neared midnight. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. The finish line was right back at the train house. As the clock struck 12, a massive figure appeared under the porch light. It was Shaquille O'Neal. He was wearing a green t-shirt and blue jeans, his brown boots planted firmly on the ground. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. Susie crossed the line first by a hair. Shaq let out a booming laugh that shook the trees. He turned to Coach Sam, who was standing nearby with a stopwatch. Shaq pointed a giant finger at the winner. "Congratulations, Sam, you win Susie," he announced. Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First. The tournament madness finally came to a close. Imani stood with Coach Sam, looking up at the stars over Tucson. They had traveled through time, won a game, and raced through the night. "The best part about basketball," Imani said, "is that the madness never truly ends." Written and illustrated by Disney Sophia the First.
The end.